What is going on, everyone? Thanks for entering the lobby of hobbies. I'm Jazz, and on this episode, I know it's been a while. It's been about a month hiatus since I've actually dropped a YouTube video, but I have a special one for you. I've got some special guests for me. So listen, I'm coming back after a month, and I'm not coming back by myself. I'm coming back with two people that you definitely have seen in the board game industry, two good friends of mine that I enjoy following them on Facebook, you name it. I have Derek and Lizzy Funkhouser from the Board Game Spotlight. So let's give them a round of applause and a thanks. Well, round of applause. Yeah, I like a round of applause, even though you're watching this on YouTube. Let's get going. Let's talk to them and see how they are doing. How's it going, guys?
Hi, we're good.
Hey, what's up, Jazz? Thanks so much for inviting us on to the show.
Listen, it's a pleasure having you guys here, just to talk board games, just to talk hobbies in general. Derek, you and I, we've been going back and forth just on Facebook, things like that. I know I've spoken to you when I was years ago when I was like having that itch to do content creation. So it's finally awesome to actually sit down with you guys on my channel. It feels awesome. Like I say, like I have a channel now. But the push from you has been awesome. So just so for the listeners out there, it's been a while since I've done a lobby sit down. I think the last one was back with Jamie Stegmeyer. So we're going to get to know a little bit about the funks. We need the funk. Give us the funk. We got to have the funk. All right. So I'm going to let's just start talking about it. So Derek, Lizzy, before we start talking about the hobbyist type questions, let's get to know a little bit about you guys in general, family life, just a day in the life of the funks, your background, your origin story. If we want to get, comic style, just give us a little bit of background.
You go first. I mean, so we met in college.
Yeah.
And
like
we
12 years ago.
Yeah, we were the same major. And she helped me pass all my classes. And, I tell the story of I just wore her down, over time. I was like, you know what? Like,
he's like, we have 4 classes together. I'm going to sit next to her in every single class, mostly because I need help. But you know what? She's cute.
Yeah. And it worked out. And then, we get married. I was in the active duty military. So we went to Georgia. We were all over the United States for 5 years and got out of the active duty military to pursue board games. And during the time I was in the active duty, I actually was contacted by James Hudson, who was looking for people to do some content for him. James Hudson with Druid City Games and Skybound Games, or Skybound Tabletop, sorry. And he was looking for somebody to write just as a, I don't know, passion project.
Yeah,
I mean, there wasn't any money involved. It was just like, hey, do you want to help me with this startup? It was essentially a startup, and it was what would become the Board Game Spotlight. And that was back in 2017.
Names before he finally decided on Spotlight.
Yeah. And so we have one child.
We do. He's a mini Derek.
Almost 4. His name is Sebastian. He goes to some conventions, but you may see him online if you follow us. Yes. He's a little ball of energy. He's a little me.
Yeah. Definitely.
And what we do like for the day to day is we both work for Skybound Tabletop. Well, Lizzy does Board Game Spotlight, and I do Skybound Tabletop and Board Game Spotlight, so dual hatted.
So we do lots of reviews, previews,
a lot of live streams.
Design.
This is actually a different area for us to do this interview. We usually like have a backdrop. Well, actually, I kind of like this setup, but over at our table, we have our green screen where we actually have game set up for tomorrow.
Nice.
So,
and yeah, like you said, active duty military. You recently came back from a deployment. Thank God everything was safe. But glad to have you back, Derek. I know Lizzy said they've been waiting to count down. I think not only us, but they were counting down. We were counting down with them for that day. I'm not going to say that I did not shed a tear on that video, but no, it's just awesome to see, and you guys getting back into the content creation, doing the the playthroughs. I think you guys got a new was a 2-player playthrough. Yeah, it's always 2-player with you guys.
Yeah,
you call it something new now.
Table for 2.
Yep.
Table for 2.
Yeah, we just were like, you know what? Let's get back to just we love to live stream, but we're like, let's kind of mix things up and let's do a pre-recorded format where we just play through a game and then give you our thoughts at the end.
And doing whatever game we wanted, whatever game was we were enjoying at that moment, whatever game we've been playing
No pressure.
years ago that we love and we, you know, kind of rediscovered, and we haven't gotten to play it. So we're like, let's share how much we love this game with the people that follow us.
Yeah. And it was just like, let's just do this for fun.
Yeah.
It was like, let's get back to, because like when we live stream, it's mostly for work.
For Kickstarters, for covering games that are coming out, which is great. We love to be able to do that, but it's nice to be able to do what we want.
It is.
Now it's awesome because, like you said you guys kind of got into content creation, but what was like your driving force? Were you guys into modern tabletop games before? Like, who was the first gamer? What was the history behind that?
We both grew up gaming, like a lot of the generic, Walmart Monopoly type. I mean, I remember like my family, whenever we lose electricity, we'd always play Monopoly over candlelight. We would take catchphrase to every family event. Like I'm one of 4, so there's 6 with my whole family, so that we split up perfectly 3 and 3. So I have lots of memories doing that. When Derek
categories, Balderdash.
When we were dating, we played a lot of Catan with his family.
Catan was a big one.
I hated that after a while. I went there for spring break with his family, and we played it like 12 times. And I was like, please do not make me play this game again. She
got so good where she would just win out of spite of ending the game. She got so good at winning. She's like, I just want this to be over. Not that Catan's not a good game. It's just like we
many times
played it so much.
I was like, I need something else. So I think we both were
we both grew
in the
up,
world.
But really it was 2014.
Yeah.
When we got 7 Wonders for Christmas, or I got 7 Wonders for Christmas for my family. Yeah. And then we kind of had started up a little board game group with some friends.
In the military. So, on post, it was a closed post. So it was just the people that live there, which was all military people and their families. And so we just started getting together every time the soldiers had a break, and we would do like 12-hour marathons.
We played Resistance till like 4:00 in the morning.
Oh, yeah. And then Code Names. We did that one a lot. You guys got Blood Rage and
Rage, Star Wars Rebellion. Yeah.
That's awesome. And it's good to see, when you have couples playing games and enjoying them. I enjoy the idea of just getting around with games with just people and building not only the community within my own family, but just with friends as well. But that's one thing that really drew me specifically to your content creation. A good buddy of ours, Derek Isaac Villa, who does gaming with sidekicks. He said, "Hey, Jazz, check these guys out. Check out their stuff on YouTube." And I just fell in love because at the time, my wife is a super casual gamer. She she enjoys games, but she is the type of person, she'll continuously play a game until eventually it burns her out, right? Or she's ready to move on to the next thing. So of the 200 plus games in my collection, she likes to stick with the 5 to 10 games that she really knows, because she really wants to get the meat out of that game. Like me, I have to go everywhere, try a little bit of everything before, because I just don't want to, get where something becomes stale. Yeah. But I enjoy that community that we have, being able to share it as a couple, but even with our family. And that's one thing that has really, I think, really drawn me to the content that you guys make. But I think that's something that draws a lot of the people to the content you guys make. I'm going to speak for the community. I think that's what it is, because you guys are both down to earth people, and we feel like we're there in your living room at your table, and you guys make that so welcoming and inviting. So as a fellow content creator to a more veteran fellow content creators, thank you for that, because it's something that we inspire to do. And like, everybody wants to be different, but it's the people that have been doing it before us, and even the people that have been doing it before you guys, that we watch, the Tom Vassals, the Shut Up and Sit Down. So, all the guys that have been doing it, we like their content. That's what draws us in. But outside of that, we all want to have a little bit of niche of our own, because everybody gravitates to other people, right? Because just because someone's not watching my channel or watching your channel doesn't mean that we don't want them watching a channel, getting to know what this hobby is all about, which is something I love here. So many people there's probably some people in Board Game Spotlight that don't know that you guys are designers as well, and you have your own your own game. And I know Derek and Lizzy, you guys are probably working on some other stuff, but from that, what had got you into the designing portion of this hobby?
For me, it was boredom
You have been designing. Your mom tells the story. When he was like a child, he and his friends like designed a board game. So
I've been
this is
designing games since I
not
was
something
6 or
new for
7.
him.
No, I made a game for Army Men. I made like in junior high, I had to do a book report on Treasure Island, so I made a Treasure Island board game to like retell the story, like all this stuff. But for me, it's like I guess the puzzle of like going from start to finish or A to B and how you get there and how you figure that out is really interesting to me because there's almost infinite possibilities. I mean, there is a finite number of mechanisms, but I mean, we do happen across new ones every once in a while, like legacy mechanisms, popped up like a decade ago. And, like it's kind of just that challenge.
Yeah. He kind of sucked me in along with him because we like to do things together. And so he was designing, he was like bouncing ideas off me. And so I just kind of was like, okay, hang on. That's true. But I enjoyed it. Syndrome. There's plenty of things that he does that I don't enjoy that I'm like, no, thank you. But this was something that we enjoyed doing together. And so I think we have really different design ideas. And so we work really well where Derek is like,
I'm super
sky's
creative.
The limit. Like he's gonna go off and do crazy things, and I'm the more grounded. Like I like that. Let's make it realistic.
Yeah.
So we really balance each other out when we design.
You're also like really a lot better at. So when I play games or even when I'm designing them, I kind of go off. I'm kind of like if you ever play Magic the Gathering, I'm more of like a Timmy player where it's just like, okay, cool. Like I can just see all these options and I like go to the shiny object, but then I see another shiny object and I go to that one. I'm just all over the place. And Lizzy's like, nope, this is my plan. I'm sticking to it.
And I'm like,
I'm going to go to it.
This. I
Win
can
or lose.
Finish. I can break the game. And people are like, you're not supposed to do that. I'm like, but I can. So if I can, I will.
Yeah. So it works out well. Like two different styles of gamers help kind of like diversify, so.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. Cause like I said, like Lizzy was saying, when she has a style of when she's playing a game, and we see that when she's playing, we see her path to victory is there, and she is so set on her path. And many times she comes out on top. Let's be real. But it's awesome, like I said. But I'm like you, Derek, where for me it is that that Timmy, that one who wants to try a bunch of different things, kind of see what works. And then, like you said, like I didn't play Magic the Gathering. I have, tinkered a little bit, but I played Dice Masters with Isaac.
Oh yeah.
The thing is all about, when you come up with a combo and you see it go off, like that's your excitement of the game, right? It's not about, sometimes it's not about winning. It's about trying to take another path.
Yeah.
Saying, oh yeah, it happened. It worked. What I was thinking was going to work, it worked out. So it's just something that makes gaming fun. And I think that's what's awesome about this hobby, is that no matter what type of game you're playing, it may not be for you, but there is something out there for everyone. And that's something that I challenge people, whether who they're watching or you have family members, is trying to get them into the hobby or introduce them to the hobby, because there's going to be something for everyone. I truly believe it. I'm going to stick by it. And I think a lot of us gamers, we feel that definitely deep inside is that we know that there's people out there that will find something that they can enjoy about this hobby, that will gravitate to them, whether it's theme, mechanics, whatever the case may be. So here at the Lobby of Hobbies, it is a lobby of multiple hobbies. While we concentrate and focus primarily on board games, we like to dabble in a couple of other things. So what other hobbies are you guys into? And I will ladies first. Lizzy, what other hobbies do you like to get into outside of tabletop gaming?
I read a lot. Yeah.
It's an understatement.
Yeah. And I mean, we're both very obviously into The Office. This was not planned. We just have a lot of Office paraphernalia.
You're wearing Office.
Get that?
Nice. Yes. Yeah, that wasn't planned.
So, I mean, we like to watch movies and TV shows together, but I would say that reading is like my first love.
Yeah. I mean,
that's what I did when I was little. I tried to write a book. I read all the books.
I'll be reading a book and you'll be like, oh, yeah, I just finished 4. Like, what?
Well, I don't finish them all at the same time.
I know, but how many books have you read this year? You're keeping track, right?
Of course.
Well, I'll talk while you're figuring that out, because she keeps track or whatever. Yeah, and like she said, we both really like TV shows. We like to relax.
124.
Wow.
And it's June. So it's a lot of books.
Nice. All new or this?
I think I reread one book this year.
Wow.
All the rest are new.
Impressive.
It's pretty
impressive. And my stack of books that I've been trying to read for the past 2 years are still there untouched.
I still have a ton of like books in my library that I have not read. Trust me, the struggle is real.
I play video games as well. I like to play Call of Duty, Battlefield, Hearthstone. Really just about any video game other than I don't enjoy Dark Souls type games. I'm not a grinder. I just don't find the repetition enjoyable. Like I understand why they're super popular because the challenge and like that thrill of finally defeating or finally getting past where you died previously. I get that. It's just not fun for me, so I don't play those.
Okay.
Yeah, but we love sports.
We are. We're both big sports fans
from
Chicago. We keep our child alive. That's a big one.
Is that a hobby?
Full-time hobby.
Listen, that's a hobby, a challenge, and everything all in itself. My daughter's just turned 2, so yeah, I understand how it is.
Yeah, there's just a lot. I dabble in a lot of different hobbies.
You will try everything.
More so than Lizzy. Lizzy, again, like sticks to it. Like, nope, this is what I like. I know it. And I'm like, oh, cool. I'm going to go paint some miniatures. And then I'm going to read a comic book. Then I'm going to go play a video game. And then I'm going to, I don't know. It's just, you never know what I'm going to do next. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do next. It's, it's exciting.
That's what keeps it exciting, right? That's probably something that Lizzy's super attracted to, right? It's the idea that you're over here, or maybe it's the fact that she likes to keep you on task. That could be another thing.
I can't keep him on task. Are you kidding?
Hey, you do a pretty good job. You do a pretty good job.
I try. It doesn't work very well.
So, I know Derek, you got deployed. It was early last year, right? Right before the pandemic, I believe it was, right?
It was like a year ago, almost exactly.
It was. I left in May. May of last year. So a couple months after but not really it was pre-height, I suppose, before things got really crazy. But I left in May and I just got back in May. So it was about a year.
So, which leads me to my question. In this year, we've seen, a huge, I would personally say a huge shift in how the hobby has kind of changed. Not only with the types of games we're seeing hit the market, seeing hit Kickstarter, but also with the types of designs that we're seeing, the types of designers that are coming out, so into the industry, as well as the different types of content creators. I'll say it's all definitely for the positive. I'm seeing a positivity to this hobby. What are some things that you find that's been great, or some things that you think that people should be checking out or getting out of this hobby that maybe they weren't 2 to 5 years ago?
So from a design development perspective, Tabletop Simulator has just honestly been a godsend. I don't think the hobby and the publishing side quite understood how much of a tool TTS could be and what it could do. And, we really unlocked that achievement per se. And that really helped propel a lot of just rapid design and rapid development, because you're not having to reiterate cards and physical cards and cutting things. And it just really speeds up the process when in like 30 seconds, you can make a digital, change to text or whatever, and then just pop it straight into TTS and go from there or whatever. So I do think that it burned out a lot of like just like regular gamers, like, because you saw that, we couldn't get together. So we're trying to play online and we're playing TTS together, and it really slows down the gameplay because you're having to fight the computer, right? And fight the program. I think gamers got burned out on that. So I think we'll see a sharp decline in Tabletop Simulator type stuff for just the consumer on the broad spectrum. But like when you're talking Kickstarter, I think, Tabletopia and TTS are still going to be really valid ways of getting somebody to be able to play your game until we are fully open, right? A lot of publishers still aren't traveling this year. They're not going to travel till next year, maybe. Things haven't really gone back to normal yet. We're working on that. And I don't really know what normal looks like anymore. I think it's a new normal. I don't think we'll ever go back to the way things were before. We're seeing across just the entire world, You're seeing people now working from home. I think this has completely shifted the kind of sense of where you can work. You know, industrial age and during the 1900s, it was 9 to 5, you go to work, you clock in, you come home. We're in the digital age. We're past the information age. We are now in a digital future, the future age, where now you can work from wherever. I could be in a coffee shop tomorrow doing my job. I could be in the park the next day watching my kid while I'm working. Like, there's just so much diversity in where and how you get your things done. I think that we're going to see, you know, a lot of people really kind of enjoy that type of thing. Now, there are still going to be jobs where you have to go in. Miners and construction workers, doctors, airline pilots, like all this stuff. There's still going to be a physical necessity. But when you're talking our hobby, when you're talking Facebook, input, Twitter,
anything
Google,
that's done on a computer can be done anywhere you have a computer.
Data analysts, like anything like that. I mean, you're talking, doesn't really matter. And I think these companies are realizing that they can
people are a lot more productive at home on their own time schedules when, you know, they are in the zone and they'll
work. Save money on leases. I mean, these large leases on these office buildings where they don't need to fill them anymore. I mean, I've even talked to some friends who their companies have instituted like a 33% manning. So each day, only 33% of employees are allowed to be in the office. So that means they go in like maybe once or twice a week.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I've seen that as well. Like, you know, specifically I work for the, you know, New Jersey state government, same thing. You know, we have a set number of people that are allowed to be in that office, and something that, you know, from a state employee, something that we think like, oh, wow, you know how much the state would probably save on budgets if, you know, now we can start, you know, having some of our employees work from home, and, you know, we can downsize some of these offices. So instead of having, you know, 3 offices throughout this county, we can, you know, downsize it to 1, and, you know, we can kind of man it that way. So yeah, I'm seeing that shift in that sense, but also, yeah, within the hobby, like you said, from that, you know, TTS and that digital standpoint, it's something that I was one of those people who was, you know, very, you know, I dabbled a little bit in TTS or tabletop, you know, Tabletopia a little bit here and there, but it really wasn't until the pandemic I felt like I was just forced to dive head first, just because, you know, that's the only way I was going to be able to game with anyone.
Yeah.
And to the point where, while it wasn't my ideal, right, it was something that I learned to become accustomed to. It's something that I was able to learn and play test games. And, you know, that's the first time I was able to play test games ever that have, you know, that are not even released or that haven't been kickstarted or we're talking about releasing, you know, 2-3 years from now. But it's something that I know plenty of people were doing prior to this, but I think, you know, it's something that has, I think that has its negativity, but I think overall there's been a positivity that's come from it. I think from a standpoint of seeing, you know, publishers being able to get their games into the hands of the consumer, to be able to playtest these things that they would have, you know, only had the chance to playtest at a convention, or even get into the hands of people who would never step foot into a convention, maybe because it was too far away or they couldn't afford going to the convention or whatever the case may be, but they were able to still play test these games and then, you know, do these pre-orders or, you know, back these Kickstarters, whatever, you know, whatever that is. But, you know, for me, I think it's been a positive that I've seen within the industry, but also in this content creation, right? There's content creators from all walks of life now that are able to, you know, hit all different markets. And I think that's been something else that we've seen in just the last year. There's, you know, there's content creators doing so many unique and awesome things out there that, you know, for me, I think that's seeing this hobby grow that in that facet has been awesome as well. But, you know, I like to do here on when I sit down and do the like top 10 lists. So we're going to do what I call a rapid fire top 10. All right. So I'm just going to ask, and being that there's 2 of you, each of you can, you know, we will start with Lizzy first, and then Derek will go, you know, have the same question, you know, and you give your first thing that comes to mind. It's almost like, you know, word association, but it's going to be one question. Doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be in, you know, in the tabletop hobby. It can be related to some other type of hobby, pop culture. It's a potpourri of things. All right. So number 1 question is going to go to Lizzy. Derek, you're going to get the same question. So first thing that comes, best ice cream flavor.
Mint Oreo.
Reese's Cup.
Reese's Cup. Mint
with
Oreo.
Extra peanut butter.
I
I worked at Dairy Queen for like, I don't know, 6 or 7 years, 8 years maybe. So that was my favorite one to make. Although I do like vanilla dipped in chocolate, like the chocolate
Mhm.
cone dip, so good. But that's not really like an ice cream flavor. That's like a
I also like
specialty.
the brownie one, but if I go to like Dairy Queen, I'll do like a brownie and Reese's Cup Blizzard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have one Dairy Queen here, and I haven't been to it in quite some time. I think I go to like Rita's Water Ice and get my my ice cream from there.
That stuff is so good.
There you go.
Where was it?
There you
Where
go.
did we live that they had it? South Carolina?
Mm-hmm.
We'd heard about it for years, and then in South Carolina, there was one near the movie theater that we used to go to, and I had it for the first time, and it was life-changing. I heard about it for like a
Your
decade.
life was changed on that
It
day.
was so good. So I
And you
still
say
think
that
about
I
it.
am hyperbolic.
How many times do you hear me say that kind of stuff?
No, it's true.
When's the last time I said that was so good it changed my life?
I mean, not on our wedding.
Okay,
No, I'm
that's
kidding.
what I'm saying.
No, I'm joking. No, you're more grounded. I'm the one that would say, "Oh my gosh, this just changed my life."
I
when
love
say that to
Italian
you.
ice.
I
Okay,
know.
so like for me, that was life changing. It was so good.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. I'm a huge Italian ice person, but like I said,
Mhm.
when it comes to ice cream, I'll tell you mine. I'm like to dabble in the coffee ice cream. It's just something, you know. We have a place, Cold Stone Creamery here, where you
Oh,
like, get
love
all
Cold Stone.
the mix-ins and
Mhm.
everything. So I love me some, you know, Java, whatever.
There was one of those in Georgia.
Oh, yeah. Love
when
Cold
we lived
Stone.
in Georgia, we get Cold Stone.
Yeah, awesome. All right, so Derek, I'm going to lead with you for this next question. Outside of board games, if you had a choice to create content for something else, what would it be?
Sports. So like a sports announcer or like maybe like a statistician. I think it would be amazing to be like on ESPN. That'd be so fun.
Nice.
That'd be so fun.
That's a dream job of mine too.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I don't know how I would do it, but I mean, that'd be cool.
All right, Lizzy, same question to you.
Books. Anything I could do with books. Probably
Nice.
reading them and, I don't know, maybe reviews or something.
Mm-hmm. You could still do that.
I could.
You could do that. I couldn't do mine, but you could do yours.
Awesome. I know if you ever heard of Foster the Meeple, they're a fairly newer content creator in board games. I know Jamie and Jeff, they actually used to do their first YouTube channel was about books. That was their hobby. There's another hobby they're still into. So, you know, I don't know if they still have that specific channel, but you know, I know they're heavily into reading as well. All right. So my third question in this top 5/10 is going to go to Lizzy. So now that I knew Derek was a reader as well. Now I know that really Lizzy is the avid reader. So you guys both enjoy a good read. Lizzy, what is your favorite book or book series?
That's such a bogus question.
Oh, come
I
on.
could never.
You can't pick. I know what I would say for you.
What would you say for me?
Let's say A Gentleman in Moscow.
See, A Reckless Oath We Made
You like
might
that one more?
overtake that one.
Really?
I know, but I don't know.
Wow.
But like,
You're getting.
I just read
That's news to
Homegoing.
me.
I just read Homegoing, and that book was like
I need to read that one.
amazing.
Did you give that 5 stars?
Yeah, I did.
Did you?
Or the one we're reading for book club next week is A Woman Is No Man. That's also incredible.
Okay.
Like,
okay.
if I will give you like my favorite like kind of style of book, and then
Okay. Fair enough.
character driven novels. So like they don't really have a plot, but they follow like a family. Pachinko is another really good one about Korean immigrants to Japan, and it follows like 5 generations. So I mean, it's like a 500 or 600 page book, but it's just beautiful and lyrical, and it just it's so beautiful. I love those kind of stories that just kind of meander and grow with a person.
Yeah,
life-changing, huh? I've got to get into it. Listen, all these everything you named, I've never heard of. I'm telling you, it's all over my head. So what about you, Derek?
Gentleman in Moscow. I think that's the best book I've ever read.
Really?
I think it is. Like, it's just his style of writing is so eloquent and so beautiful. Like his descriptions of things. I mean, you can just picture it. Like the way he describes things, you just lays it out.
I feel
right
like
in
I've
front
been
of
to
you.
Moscow. I feel like I've been to the metropole.
If you
there.
read a book this year, read A Gentleman in Moscow. It's
gorgeous.
Just So beautiful.
And he has that author, Immortals.
And it's
has a new book coming out this like fall.
Oh yeah.
Yes, The Lincoln Highway. And I'm so excited.
Like what Lizzy said, it's character
years.
driven, where it just follows the life of this man as you know, I don't want to give too much away, but it was at the Bolshevik Revolution and the height and the fall.
And it goes through past like into the Cold War.
Yep. It's just about his life.
He gets exiled to the Metropole Hotel and he's just there. They tell him you have to live here. Yeah. You can't leave. And it's his life.
They're making that new movie, aren't they?
I hope not.
Oh, really?
You think they're going to do that justice?
Tom Hanks would kill that role.
He starts out as like a 22-year-old. How are they going to do that?
CGI. Figure it out.
I don't want a 22-year-old Tom Hanks.
Figure it out.
They did it with Benjamin Button, didn't they?
Right, they did.
Yeah. So I'm going to put that on my list. Listen, I'm not a big reader at all. Not that I don't enjoy reading. For me, I just sometimes just don't find the time with my schedule. So that's
audiobooks, life-changing. And look, I was a huge no, I'm not going to do audiobooks. I'm not going to do audiobooks. And Lizzy was like, just do it. Just do it.
Just try it once.
And I was like, I fall asleep. I can't.
And I told him, speed it up. Speed it up to your natural reading level. And then
as soon as I sped it up to 2 times speed, I was hooked. I will usually pick audio over normal books now.
Plus, there's so many free library apps that you can use that just make it so easy. Libby, Hoopla, Overdrive. Amazing. I think there's another one called Cloud Library. There's so many. Yeah. Oh, did we lose him?
I'm still here. I'm gonna switch to my other camera for some reason.
Okay.
Libby is a free app. Oh, there he is.
Libby
is a free. Yeah, but Libby is an amazing app that really got us through the pandemic. Probably one of the best apps that people found during the pandemic.
Yeah, it was huge.
But honestly, audiobooks are real. And I know that it might seem kind of weird, but as soon as I sped it up, I was fine.
It's funny because you're not the only one who's told me that. I think I was speaking to a friend and they said the same thing. Audiobooks. You just get into, and I was like, do I really want to? Because I'll tell you, first time I got into really wanting to read, freshman year of college, Harry Potter and Sorcerer's Stone. I picked it up and that was my I was hooked onto just reading. And I think I read so many books throughout college, but then afterwards, life just, gets in the way. And I was like, but I enjoy sitting down and reading a book. I think my iPad is just loaded with books. I just have not had the chance to read. So I think I've got to do that. I think I've got to
re-listen to something you love. Listening to it as opposed to reading it is a whole different experience, and you can enjoy it so much more, and you discover things that you didn't notice. And you can get the ones where they do all the voices, and you can do cast ones. It's a great experience. So I would say start with something that you have already read and love, so that you don't feel like you can't miss anything.
I did the audiobooks for Harry Potter.
Well, you had never read Harry Potter, you muggle.
And I did the audiobooks for that. And, I've done audiobooks for things that I really enjoyed. And I think those are fantastic. So
awesome. So I'm going to be doing audiobooks right after this. Trust me, I will be getting some of these books onto audio format. Next question. We got 2 more left. So being that you guys are originally from the Chicago area, Chicago Cubs fans. Oh, well, yeah, but I know he's a Cubs fan.
Of course.
So, all right.
Of course.
Well, he's you're not from the Midwest, so I say you're not from Chicago.
What?
So the real question with this is Chicago deep dish or New York style pizza?
Deep dish every time. What is wrong with you?
Is it even pizza?
Hold on.
But
is Philip Millman around here?
As a Chicagoan, I love deep dish. Chicago deep dish is great, but that's a special occasion pizza for us. That's a celebration. That's a going out with your family. That's not a ordering in a Friday night.
No, Chicago deep dish isn't what you would normally get. So
that's your fancy celebratory pizza.
But there's actually a thin crust place close to where Lizzy lives called Little Villa that makes incredible thin crust pizza. And I actually would rather just order that to take home because deep dish is super messy. Now going to Luminati's and having a deep dish pizza is the best pizza you'll ever get in your life. I'm sorry. It's the way it is. Just the way it is.
Plus their salads. Luminati's makes the best salad.
Just the way it is. I'm sorry.
Balance out the pizza a little.
I don't know. I'll try it. I for me to say yes, that's be blasphemy. Being from the East Coast,
I know.
Being a born New Yorker, that would be blasphemy me saying that. But I have said I I do have to try.
I grew up
dish.
living by the motto that the further you get from Chicago, the worse the pizza is.
Yeah,
so like when we lived
Texas
in
and California
California, I was like, this is the worst. Like we would go to events and they're like, oh, there's pizza over there. We ordered pizza. And I'm like, no, thank you. I ate before I came. I literally would.
Super judgy.
They're like, oh, we have pizza. And I
is
was like, no, thank you. I will not eat that.
So food judgy. I'm a human dumpster. I'll just eat it. Give it to me.
And I'll just be like, oh my, like Little Villa. I will never eat Little Villa. In college, they would always order for parties, and I was like,
you talking Little Villa? You said
no, Little Caesars.
Little
Sorry,
Caesars.
Little Caesars. For college, they would order Little Caesars, and I was like, no, I would rather starve.
Well, I think, trust me, a lot of people here would rather starve than eat Little Caesars pizza as well. So
it's like, barely pizza.
I also am of the mind though where pizza is one of my favorite things to eat. So honestly, like New York pizza, I'm fine with it. I'll eat it. Like I just want more pizza. So I mean, I would not choose to eat Little Caesars, but Domino's has gotten a lot better. Pizza Hut cheesy stuff, is delicious. Lunchable pizza.
He's grown a lot since he's met me food wise.
This
has been a struggle, another like kicking and screaming journey.
Now you guys have not yet been like to New York City. I'm talking about like greasy.
I have multiple times. I have
like the grease dripping down,
like the huge slices, and you gotta fold it.
I mean, I would just take a napkin and I would just pat it down real quick.
See, that's blasphemy right there.
That's heresy. You're gonna get shot.
So
I know better.
For those listening, down in the comments, the debate, all right? Chicago deep dish or New York style pizza, let us know. All right, I want to hear what people say. And I know Derek and Lizzy are going to be checking this down out in the comments. All right, so last question. Let's get to it. If you had the chance to convince someone or show someone who is completely new to the hobby of modern board gaming, what is the one game that you would bring to the table?
I think we can answer this at the same time. I think I know what you would say.
I think I know what you would say for me, but honestly, I think it would depend on the person.
Well, he just said new to the hobby. They've never played a board game before, right? I mean,
yeah. So you have one chance, like this one game that you would bring to the table. Like,
I know what you're gonna say, and I agree mostly, but I feel like there's a lot of entry level games that fit. But we would say Skull King.
Yes,
Skull King.
Yeah. Awesome.
And here's why. Like I don't think there's really any other answer. I think Skull King is the perfect answer because most people across the world grow up with some sort of card trick-taking game.
I did not.
Euchre, spades. You didn't play spades as a kid?
No.
Oh my goodness, you sheltered child.
The first time I played a trick-taking game was the day I got back from China, and I was falling asleep. So I remember nothing from it. You guys put me to bed at 8 because I was falling out of my chair. And so then, they're playing hearts or Heartbreaker.
Home Wrecker.
There we go. I knew I'd get there. And I was just throwing out cards and don't you have a heart? And I was like, oh yeah. And you had to play it. I'm like, why? And they're like, that's the rules. And I don't get it. So now knowing if someone has a background with a trick taking game, absolutely Skull King.
Okay, so what would you say if somebody is you and is completely sheltered from card games?
Something like Kohaku, maybe Second Chance. Probably Second Chance would be my backup. Second Chance, because it's pretty easy.
Second Chance is a good backup.
All you have to do is fill in a grid. It's super fun. It's not super competitive unless you're like my parents and me.
I would also say, so if not Skull King, my other option would be Shobu. I think Shobu is just extremely, and I actually did teach people over in Ukraine Shobu. I just grabbed some rocks and the paper and I played with my friends.
Yeah.
Did you have the rope though? You gotta have the rope.
No, I just used I think I used a stick. I just grabbed a stick. And I showed them how to play Shobu, and they had literally never played a board game in their life. And I was like,
and they're like, "Did you design this?" What? And he's like, "Yeah, no."
I'm like, first of all, how dare you never play a board game? Number two, no, but it was cool. So Shobu would be right up there with Skull King.
Awesome. I love both of them. Skull King is my the one game that kind of travels with me everywhere I go. Like you said, I think Derek, for me, I think you hit it right on the nail. I think even for people who have never played a trick taking game, people have played some form of card game. And I think especially for me growing up, as a minority in whether it's my family's primarily Hispanic, even African Americans that are in my family. We have a lot of mixed race in my family as well. A lot of them know spades. But if it's not spades, they're played some form of card game that they love or they gravitate to. Even people who have been just straight Uno players have loved Skull King. You know, it's just something that, you know, it's easy to play, and you don't even have to get into even the you know, the advanced specialty cards. Just playing it straight up. And I'm super excited for the new version that's going to come out. That's going to supposed to have, I think, even like a 2-player variant. It's supposed to be
it does.
I'm excited. I'm excited for it. So good list. Very good list. So we're going to close this one out, but I want to thank you guys, you know, for being with us. I'm gonna leave it to you guys. Anything at all that you want to talk about, what's coming up on the spotlight or with Skybound Tabletop. This is your floor and platform to just, you know, make it known.
Well, we're going to be putting out a lot more content on the YouTube channel. We're trying to get
we're trying to grow the YouTube channel
a week. So we'll do a lot more playthroughs of the games that we like. Tuesday is our sponsored day, so we're doing all the Kickstarters. We have Siege 6 coming up
tomorrow. Which also Valor and Villainy is launching on Kickstarter. The new Labyrinth, which is a co-op adventure that's launching from Skybound Tabletop, and that's going to be really fun. And there's just a lot of things. You'll find us at Gen Con this year. I'll probably be at Origins. And we may or may not be at PAX Unplugged. I don't know yet. It's still kind of iffy. I don't know.
Derek's been looking up all the conventions that are in the area. So
Wisconsin, Illinois, just trying to hit like local conventions and things. But you'll see us around. And, you know, if you are a member of the Board Game Spotlight and you're watching this, thank you so much for your support. We are extremely blessed to be able to do what we do. And we love that you're along with us on this ride. And if you're watching this and you've never heard of us, and you want to just follow 2 goofy people or 1 goofy person and somebody that's normal.
Wait, who gets to be normal?
You're normal. You can find us on TikTok and Instagram and Twitch and YouTube at the Board Game Spotlight. So, and Facebook. That thing.
Did you already say that?
Did I say that?
Twitter?
Twitter.
If there is a social media, we probably have it, and we're the Board Game Spotlight.
Unless you're Vine. We're not on Vine anymore.
Vine doesn't exist anymore.
I know, it's TikTok now.
Then why would you say that?
Into the thick of it.
Awesome, guys. Thanks so much again. And I'll be closing us out. Again, my name is Jazz. Thanks so much for being with us. Thanks again to Derek and Lizzy for joining us from Board Game Spotlight. I'm going to put links down to their Facebook group and things that you see where you can find them. Also their YouTube channel. But again, thank you so much for them. And thank you so much for stopping here at the Lobby of Hobbies. Just drop us a comment down below. You know, again, that big debate, Chicago style pizza or New York style pizza. I'm a New York style pizza, but again, I don't think I've ever had real Chicago deep dish, so I can't say. All right, but again, thanks so much. Drop us a comment, drop us a like. If you're not subscribed, why don't you subscribe? Again, thank you for stepping through with us. Thank you so much. Have a good one.